We are learning about interpreting topographical maps. Is it what we are learning? Interpreting topographical maps. In the previous class, what all things we have learned? Do you remember what we have learned in the previous class? Okay, topographical maps are the large scale maps. Is it? What is topographical maps? They are the large scale maps. And in a topographical map, the shape of the land is generally shown by contour lines. Okay, how the shape of the earth is shown in the topographical map? By the contour lines. When you say contour lines, there are arbitrary lines also given in the topographical map. Is it? What is this arbitrary line? Instead of longitude and latitudes, see, in the globe we can find latitudes and longitudes. Okay, longitudes and latitudes. The horizontal lines are known as latitudes and the vertical lines are known as longitudes or longitudes. Is it? Now, see here in the topographical map we don't have any longitudes or latitudes as such. Instead, what we are having here, we are having arbitrary lines. Okay, these arbitrary lines are also the vertical lines and the horizontal lines. Okay, the vertical lines are known as what? The vertical lines are known as easting. Okay, what we call the vertical lines in the topo map? It is easting. And the horizontal lines are known as what? Northing. What we call the horizontal lines? We call it as northings. Easting and northings. See, the numbers are given for the contour lines in the map. Is it? What is given? Numbers are given. When the elevation is increasing, okay, when the height is increasing, what happened? The numbers also increased eastward. Did you understand? And the height decreases. The number also decreases. Okay, and when the numbers increase in the northings or in the northward, what we call the number, the northings, the number also increase northward. Did you understand? And we call contour lines. Is it? In the topo map we are having contour lines. What is contour lines means? They are the lines that connect all the points above the sea level. Okay, that connect all the points that are same height above the sea level. That are called what? Contour lines. Now you have learned certain characteristics of these easting and northings. Okay, and this easting and northings, it form a grid. So it has a grid square. Okay, what it has? It has a grid square, and always the counting will be from the southwest direction. So when you want to see in the topo map, you have to count it from the southwest point of view. Did you understand? So it is the starting point of to read the topographical map. In the previous class, you also have seen representation of relief or elevation on your topo sheet using contours. Okay, how you have to see the elevation of relief places with the help of contours you have seen in the previous class. Here we are going to see the identification of simple landforms. Okay, what you are going to see? Identification of simple landforms. What are the different simple landforms? Okay, we have seen about the relief features. Is it? What the relief features says about mountains, hills, plateaus, plains, okay, desert. These are some of the relief features of the earth. Now, identification of simple landforms. How will you identify the simple landforms? First one, how will you identify a gentle slope and the steep slope. Okay, you have seen landforms are pointed with the contour lines that you have seen, is it? Now, gentle slope and the steep slope. When you see the contour lines are very close, if the contour lines are very close, that means that area is very steep slope. Okay, what you have seen? If the area, the contour lines are close, you have to understand that indicates the area is steep slope. Did you understand? In steep slope, how will you the contour lines? It will be very close. And the contour lines are far away. If the contour lines are far away, that you have to understand, that indicates the area is with a gentle slope. What you have to understand? You have to understand the slope is gentle. Did you understand? And for the plateau region, how will you identify the area is the tableland or plateau? You know what is tableland or plateau? What is tableland? The region which is higher than the, comparatively higher than the surrounding area is called what? Tableland or plateau. Here what happens? These contour lines are very close. Okay, how is the contour lines here in the plateau region? The contour lines are very close to each other and there will not be any contour lines in the middle. There will not be any contour lines in the middle. If it is like that, what you have to understand? It is the region where with the plateaus. Okay, it will be like this. Did you understand? The contour lines will be very close to each other. So it denotes what? This region is with a plateau. And you should understand, for every contour lines there is a number. Number is given. When elevation is increasing, the number also will be increasing. Okay, now conical hill. How will you identify the conical hill? Conical hill also, it's like a place, a conical hill is a place low elevation, with a low elevation in the shape of cone. Okay, with the shape of cone. For example, it will be there, surrounding area will be there, in the middle will be little conical shape. Okay, it is called what? Conical hill. The conical hill is simply a low elevation hill in the shape of the cone with uniform steepness of all sides. Contour lines of this conical hill is evenly spaced in almost concentric circles. Okay, it will be in a concentric circles. Okay. So conical hill you can identify like this. So how will you identify? It is the low elevation. You can find the low elevation and the steepness of the surrounding area will be same in all the sides. Did you understand? And how will you identify ridges? A ridge is a long and narrow elevation that has steep slope on either side and stands out from the surrounding lowlands. What is ridge? Ridge is a long and narrow elevation. Okay, ridges in the sense it will be like this. Okay, it will be like this. Okay, long and narrow elevation. It is continuous. Okay, it comes continuous. So different numbers will be given. So ridge is a long and narrow elevation that has steep slopes on either sides, stands out from a surrounding lowlands. The surrounding place will be lowland and there will be a long and narrow elevation. Long and narrow elevation. Did you understand? A ridge could also have several peaks and various elevation. The ridge could have several peaks. For example, in Mount Himalaya, we are having different peaks. Okay, can you say some of the peaks of Mount Everest? Okay, Mount in the Himalayan Mount, we are having Everest peak and Mount Astin. Okay, so these are some of the peaks in the Mount Himalaya. Now we are also having some of the peaks in Tamil Nadu, is it? In Nilgiris Mount, in Mount Totapata, peak Totapata, called peak Totapata. Now saddle, the next thing you are going to see is saddle. What is saddle? The saddle is a shallow depression at a high elevation between two peaks or ridges. Okay, it is a saddle is a shallow depression at a high elevation between two peaks. For example, here is one peak, okay, and here is another peak. Okay, it is a shallow depression. What we call saddle is a shallow depression at a high elevation between two peaks. Okay, shallow elevation, shallow depression at a high elevation between two peaks is called what? Saddle. Then cliff. Cliff is a vertical or near vertical land feature. Cliff is a what? Cliff is what? It is a vertical or near vertical depression near the land. For example, the depression will be like this. Okay, here also number will be given. So cliff is a vertical or near vertical land feature. The landform rises vertically from the lower ground. Okay, the land rises vertically from the lower ground. Okay, it rises vertically, not horizontally. It rises vertically from the lower highlands on a contour map. Okay, on a contour map. The contour lines are very close together or merge into a single line. In other words, contour lines overlap. This indicates a cliff. Okay, in the contour map, how this lines will be given? It will be very close to each other. The contour lines will be very close to each other, and this will be raised vertically comparing with the surrounding region. It is called what? Cliff. Did you understand what is cliff? Cliff is a vertical or near vertical land feature comparatively surrounding area. It rises vertically. Did you understand? And it will be very close to each other. Sometimes what will happen? It will overlap each other. The contour line will be overlapping on one another. That denotes or that indicate what? That indicate there is a cliff. Did you understand? Now, the other thing we are going to learn is V-shaped valley and U-shaped valley. What is V-shaped valley? For example, in the V-shaped valley, we can find in the upper course of a river. What is upper course of a river? There are three parts in the river, okay? Upper course, middle course and the lower course. We can see this V-shaped valley in the upper course of the river. For example, the river begins in the mountain region, is it? Here we can see the V-shaped valley. where the slopes of either side of the river are steep. Okay, either side of the slope is steep. Okay, and the river begins on the top of the mountain and it flows in the either sides and it forms the what? The V-shaped valleys. Did you understand? And V-shaped valleys it forms in the same way U-shaped valleys. How it will be formed? For example, same like this. The U-shaped valleys can be found in the lower part of the mountain. Okay, in the lower part of the mountain where glaciers are there. Okay, here also what happened? These valleys are found in the region where the action of glaciers have widened the valleys so that the valleys are taken U-shaped U-shaped. These are also found in the lower region of the river where erosion of valley walls by the river widen the valley to make them look like V-shaped. Here see what happens in the lower part. The river originates on the top of the mountain and it falls through the hills. Okay, through the hills. And there what happened? You can find the V-shaped valleys. When it comes down, you know the region is very cool and most of the places covered with snow throughout the year. Here what happened? Glaciers will be formed because of the coolness or the chillness of this region. Okay, and these glaciers, because of the glaciers what happened? The water cannot be carried fully because it got frozen in the places. Okay, and so here what happened? There will be U-shaped valleys found in the lower region of the river. Did you understand? Another thing we are going to see is coal gap. What is coal? You are going to see coal, pass or passes and gap. What is this? What is coal? A coal is formed when the land has been cut considerably between two streams in a watershed. Okay, what happened? When the two water splits or cuts, what will happen? Here formed coal. Coal is formed when the land has been cut considerably between two streams. Okay, so here what happened? That is the formation of coal. And the passes. What is passes? Passes are they are lying between two peaks in a range of hills. They are low valleys. Okay, passes are the low valleys. Passes are the low valleys. Where you can find these low valleys between two peaks or in a range of hills. Okay, where we can find the passes between two peaks in a range of hills. For example, this is the range of hills. Okay, between these two peaks, what you can find? You can find the low valleys. That is called what? Passes. Do you understand? And gap. Gap is a low-lying depression in a valley. What is gap? It is a low-lying depression in a valley which cuts through the range of hills. Same. Okay. Almost the passes and gap is same. This is between two peaks. It is a low valley between two peaks. Here what happened? It is the low-lying depression between the range of hills. In the range of hills. Did you understand? Now we are going to learn about settlements pattern on the topo sheet. What is the settlement pattern? How the settlement pattern is given? You have learned about two types of settlement. Is it? What are the two types of settlements? Permanent settlement and the temporary settlement. Okay. the settlement, location of the settlement is, or the size of the settlement is based on the place, like where the road, rail tracks and administrative buildings are found. Okay, it is based on the size of the settlement is based on the rail tracks, hospitals, administrative buildings are located, and how it is the characteristics of this settlements, how it is located. First one, the location of these settlements are based on the availability of the water. Okay, based on the availability of water. How in the beginning of the history you might have learned, is it? The civilization and all is developed because of the near the water bodies, because of the availability of water. Land is good and the river is used for transportation and all, you might have learned, is it? In the same way, the first people started to settle in a particular place. Okay, where they have settled? They have settled near the river banks. Okay, so here also we are learning about settlements pattern. Okay, in the settlement pattern, we are learning about location of the settlement, how the people located themselves in a settlement. Okay, the first factor is availability of water. Okay, wherever the water supply is there, wherever the river is available, wherever the confluence are there, where the river, the tributaries join with the main river. And the settlement grow in an area that are flat and where the land is cultivable. Okay, people found the place where there is possible for living, to do some works. Okay, so where there is the land is cultivable, people settle in the places. Next point we can see, settlement also thrive on a plateau because of the flat surface of the plateau. Okay, we know what is plateau and all. Listen, what is plateau? Plateaus are the raised region, comparatively raised region, comparing with the other part or that are surrounding. Okay, now so this settlement also thrive on a plateau region. Why? On the plateau region, the surface of the plateau is flat. Okay, and we call this plateau as a tableland because it is raised comparatively high than the surrounding area. Now they developed and grow in a place where climate is suitable or pleasant to live in, whether it is hot or cool. Okay, people selected the pleasant climate. Okay, what did people selected? The people selected the place to live where there is suitable climate. Now, settlements are found where there are prospect for employment. Okay, where people can find employment, where there is industries are found. Okay, the factories are found, manufacturing goods and trade where possible. Okay, and where there is towns and cities or more, there places we can find the settlement or also more. Okay, developing areas. Okay, now they develop places that are easily accessible by various kinds of roads, rivers, railway lines, and what happened? Easy access to and from the settlement will allow movement to people and goods from one place to another. That's what I told. The transport and communication, where there is the transport and communication is possible, people found out the place and settled. So these are the location, that factors of the location of the settlement we can find. Now when we see this settlement, I told two types of settlement. Listen, what are the two types of settlement? One is permanent settlement, other one is temporary settlement. Settlements are based on its size, okay, and its location. Okay, certain factors we have seen for the location. Is it near the river, near the place on the plateau region, and where there is possibility for employment, people started to settle. Listen. Now, types of settlements. There are three types of settlement. One is nucleated settlement, linear settlement, and also scattered settlement. Okay, there are three types of settlement. What's the first type of settlement? Nucleated settlement. What is nucleated settlement? For example, in nucleated settlement, building and huts are in a compact cluster. These settlements are usually found in a places or valleys. These kinds of settlement indicates that the community is living in an area where the land is fertile and good for agriculture. Nucleated settlements generally have a well-knit and large community. Apart from houses, essential facilities like hospitals, police stations, post offices, schools and administrative buildings are found. Nucleated settlement are also known as clustered settlement. Okay, what we call nucleated settlement as clustered settlement. For example, when you go to the hill area like Ooty, Kodaikanal in Tamil Nadu, okay, you can see there is a cluster of houses, okay, and in this particular area what we also can find, police station will be there, school will be there, hospital will be there, okay. So this kind of settlement is called what? Nucleated settlement. They need not to expect for anything outside. Everything will be available in the particular place where they are living. That's why we call as nucleated settlement or clustered settlement. And linear settlement. The second one is called what? Linear settlement. What is called a linear settlement? Linear settlement are those that are found in a line. Houses, shops, dabas, petrol pumps and garbages develop along the sides of roads, railways, lines, and gradually these linear settlements grow in a size. Okay, the settlements gradually develop into trading centers if such a settlement is near to a rail track and over a period of time need for a railway station is felt, then it becomes a railway stop. Okay, so linear settlement where you can find, for example, in a big cities like Mumbai, Calcutta, Chennai and all, near the railway track you can find lot of settlements. Okay, this kind of settlement is what? Linear settlement. Okay, since why this area is filled with settlement? Because there is transportation facilities are there. Okay, for exporting and importing goods from one place to another. For better communication, people settle there near the railway stations and near the roads. Okay, so gradually what happens? There they used to have the dabas, okay, the petrol pumps. Okay, gradually what will happen? There will be development taking place. Did you understand? Now, scattered settlement. Scattered settlement means there will not be much houses. Okay, it will be scattered here and there. So these are also known as dispersed settlement. Houses or huts in this type of settlement are far apart from one another. On the map, such a settlement is indicated by long distance between houses. Areas of scattered settlement indicate sparse population. Okay, what this scattered settlement shows? The scattered settlement on the map shows or indicate that population of this region is not more. Okay, there will be less population or scarce population. And houses or huts are usually considered by a cart tracks or path. Okay, the houses will be where? It will be on the path or on the cart tracks. Did you understand? Now, transport and communication. We are going to learn now about the transport and communication. When we learn transport and communication, how this will be mentioned on the map, on the topo map, it will be mentioned with a black color, okay, for transport and communication. There will be two types of roads. One is metal road or paka roads and unmetal roads or kacha roads. Okay, these paka roads you can find in the developed areas like towns and cities, and kacha roads you can find in the villages. Both these roads can be used for communicating. Okay, not only communication, it is also used for transporting goods from one place to another. Okay, now what all things can be found? What is the importance of these roads? In the Pakka roads, you can find the developed areas. You can find in the developed areas where the developed vehicle can be used on the road. Kacha roads you can see like bullock carts, okay, that kind of vehicles, small vehicle you can find in the kacha roads. And unmetal road or footpath also is there, that can be used in the hilly areas for transporting goods from one place to another. Did you understand? Okay. Here we end the class today. The remaining we will see it in the next class. Thank you, children.